Lordo, you got some kind of instrumental acoustic opening bed in you that won't get iHeart Radio Audio Media sued?
Well, you know, I don't have free balling in me today with the with the quarterback parody.
Yeah.
But with the team and the coach that's coming up shortly here, we could do a little move on up.
Gotta move on up. All right, this is 9 to noon.
Acapella style, I guess.
Very well done, Curtis Mayfield. Good morning. Welcome to 9 to noon. Welcome to the TCO radio studio. It is our weekly stop at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. And Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, joins us a little later. We have a coach's covenant today. And we will begin it with Chris Finch, head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, courtesy of Second Harvest Heartland and 2harvest.org. Chris Finch, it's Paul Allen. What's going on, my man?
Hey, good morning, PA. All good here.
Thanks for the call, my brother. Are you going to watch the NBA Cup final tonight between the Knicks and the Spurs?
You know, I was actually thinking about going to the Wild game tonight, but I haven't decided what my night's going to look like tonight. So.
What can you tell us from an analytical standpoint about new blue liner Quinn Hughes, a player for whom they traded from Vancouver, and people are calling it Quinnesota?
I can tell you nothing. I haven't been out to see them play yet. I usually like to get out a couple times a year, and tonight's a night I can do it.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. You know, with that NBA Cup final tonight, when San Antonio beat Oklahoma City Saturday night, at one point in that game, man, Wemby had played 7 minutes and was plus 20. Are you kidding me with that? 7 minutes plus 20?
I know, it's crazy. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, it feels like we're all on a little bit of borrowed time with Wemby. You know, he just keeps getting better and better and better. You know, at some point, not too distant futures, he will be by far and away the best player in the league with his impact on both sides of the ball. And you can see his game maturing. I think the thing that gives him such a great foundation is he's always been a mature individual. And now you can see his game maturing alongside of his development. So, he's an incredible athlete. It's amazing to watch him play.
When you go to the Wild game tonight, perchance are you doing Let's Play Hockey?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to try to sneak in, watch some hockey, and sneak out.
Have you ever done that, where you get up there on that perch and it's time to drop the puck? Let's play hockey. Have you ever done that?
No, I've never done it. So.
Yeah, well, we put it out there now. So if any constituents with the Wild are listening, if Aaron Freeman gets a text within the next 12 or 13 minutes, then apologies from yours truly. But with the NBA Cup, Chris. Minus what I deem to be the ugly floors, the courts and what they do with them. Is the NBA Cup a success in your estimation?
I think so. I think it's been a success. I believe that it's created a bit of early season urgency, for sure. I would say a lot of fans still don't understand the format, but once they get around their head around these winner go home style games, which we don't often see in the NBA, I think the intensity and the purpose of the games takes on a heightened meaning. I like that, and it's just I wish they would realign it along divisions. That would make sense to me, and I understand why they don't. They don't want these imbalance of good and not so good teams. But like our division would be super tough with Denver, Oklahoma City, ourselves. But it is what it is. Every year it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it gives some geographical meaning. I think it makes sense for travel. That's the one thing. One of the downsides about the Cup is what it does to your schedule. It creates a bit of an accordion in your schedule. You have these gaps where you don't play, and then you play a bunch of games in a short period of time. But the real problem is, like, you have to zigzag all over the country to try to play your Cup games. And I do think if we did it geographically, it would make a little bit more sense for us from a travel point of view.
Yeah, I'm glad you're going to the Wild game tonight. And now we go back to the second question about our first question. You're going to watch that thing tonight between the Knicks and the Spurs. I would imagine as a head coach of an NBA team with a game tomorrow night, you're probably the last one to get with be like, hey, Micah, hey, Pablo, guys want to come over to my place and have some appetizers and a couple of drinks and watch an NBA game?
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, we have a great staff. I know they'll be all over the games preparing. We have these two teams coming up here in the near future. I think we have the Knicks next week, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, of course, I'm going to lock in on our opponent, and our preparation is always on point, and we go through it, step by step, and I'll get my eyes on those guys right before we play them. But, my job is primarily worry about us, worry about what's going on inside the Timberwolves and how I try to inwardly focus while the rest of our staff might outwardly focus.
Hey, off the beaten path for a second, and you do get the Knicks next week. When you were in Toronto, did you have OG Anunoby?
I did. Yep. Phenomenal player. One of my favorites.
Yeah. What it's, I'm not going to put you in a spot, to be like, he's the best at two-way player, but man, holy cow, with that length and size and stuff, now that they have him back, he's a wonderful defensive player, isn't he?
Oh my God. Yeah. He can guard 1 through 5 legitimately at a super high level. When we were there, the one night he would guard Damian Lillard. The next night he would guard Giannis. Yeah, it was pretty incredible to watch his versatility.
Yeah. Do you remember much of when Kevin Garnett, played early, kind of in the early stages of his career here?
I don't remember him much as an younger player, to be quite honest with you. I was in Europe a lot during that time. Right. So, but yeah.
Yeah, the reason I brought it up is you just reminded me with the Lillard and Giannis comparison is like when the Wolves went to the playoffs with Sprewell and Cassell, and they had a really good team with KG, and they would play the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, he would shut down Dirk Nowitzki. Then the Wisconsin Badger Michael Finley would get hot, and then Flip, God rest his soul, would put KG on Finley, and he'd handle him on the perimeter. It was terrific.
Yeah, we have a little bit of that luxury with Jaden. Jaden can guard a lot of different guys. Some of the super strong and beefy guys might give him a little bit more trouble, but he's a weapon defensively when you have a guy who can guard multiple positions with great length, and then, be able to kind of just move them around in a game as you need to.
This is Chris Finch, coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have Memphis here tomorrow night. Quite the long homestand for Chris's team. Started with a victory over Sacramento. Memphis tomorrow night, and it's about a 9-day homestand, which is really cool. And Chris is on the board of Second Harvest Heartland, so support if you are so inclined at 2harvest.org. With Memphis here tomorrow night, Ja Morant is back. What are you expecting from your guys in that one against Memphis?
Well, yeah. I think unfortunately Ja rolled his ankle a little bit last night, so I don't know what his status will be. We'll find out today, but he is back. Edey is out for them. They've had a tough season. They've had some injuries in and out of the lineups to start this season, which is kind of hurt their ability to catch a rhythm. But they've been playing better of late. We know it's going to be a lot of Jaren Jackson Jr. He's going to, he's really come on in the last couple of years as just kind of their number one guy, their go-to guy, if you will. Mm-hmm. Hard team to play. They spread you out really well. They play with great pace, do a lot of things that, you see a lot of teams doing in this league. They kind of retooled their offense a little bit. So Jaren Jackson Jr. is a little bit more at the heart of it.
How is Edwards' foot? And do you expect to have him like tomorrow or soon?
Yeah, it's definitely improving. He's still day to day, and we have practice here this morning, and we'll see what he looks like coming in. But he was able to move around, get up some shots yesterday. So we're headed in the right direction, but I'm not sure of exact return time just yet.
And Chris, with Rudy Gobert, obviously not searching for details, but is everything okay? And do you expect him back tomorrow?
Oh yeah, absolutely, everything's okay right with Rudy. So he'll be back today and in the lineup tomorrow. And he's been having a phenomenal season for us so far. It's been fun to watch him play with the energy and activity that he has been playing with.
Do you ever fatigue of constant questions about, say, Clark, Dillingham, and or Shannon Jr. and their minutes?
No. Listen, I understand. I understand what why people are asking. And I gave a pretty good long answer about it the other day after the game, so I don't think I need to go through it all again.
Right.
It's just to say that this is part of the dual track of trying to win every single night with the team that's I wouldn't even say we're we're certainly not in our prime. Like we have a bunch of our young core who's still 24, 25 years old, which is still a couple of years before their quote unquote prime. And then we got a couple of vets to round out the rest of it. But, and then we got a bunch of young guys basically in their second year. And,
yep.
We're trying to accomplish all things. And it's a delicate balance, trying to thread this needle. And we know there's going to be inconsistencies from that part of the roster. And we just can't gift them, 25 minutes a night. We don't, have that in our, if you map out all the roles and the minutes for everyone, those minutes would have to come at the expense of somebody else. And it's not like somebody's playing 40 minutes a night. So, the role is what it is. It's small but it's their job to really kind of nail that role right now. And then we'll grow it from there.
Well, off one thing you did say the other night, and I got the quote from Johnny Athletic Story, Krasinski at The Athletic and theathletic.com. With the second year guys, when you say with 3 games, like a 3-game sample, you hope to get 1 good game, 1 not so good, 1 stinker. What plays into that? Yeah,
that's just the nature of it, PA. This inconsistency of young players. I think that to be a young player, and when things start to take root for you, it's the consistency of your play. Knowing every single night you can repeat what you're able to do to some sort of level of success, where it becomes reliable, and that's what drives confidence. I know confidence that has to be given to players for them to go out and play well. That confidence is expressed by us, the coaching staff, by playing them every night, irrespective of maybe how they played the night before. But the real confidence comes from being able to repeat things and getting confidence that you can repeat things. And that, that's, NBA is a tough proving ground for young players at times. And especially when you're on a team such as ours, who's, the stakes are higher, and you're surrounded by guys who you're out there at the expense of maybe their minutes, and they're very accomplished and they're very consistent. So.
Well, with the 3 we mentioned, the one thing that perplexing would be too strong, but something that surprises me is Terrence Shannon Jr. I mean, he tears up Oklahoma City, maybe the best overall team in the NBA. I mean, he tears them up every time he plays them, but then isn't consistent in the other games. Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah, I mean, 100% what I'm saying, but it doesn't. I kind of remove the opponent a little bit. I mean, I think there are reasons why that he plays better against OKC than some of the other teams, but yeah, it shouldn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
You should be able to kind of have that level of performance. Now TJ's inconsistency is often driven by his fouling on defense. Like he's often in foul trouble or, has issues at that end of the floor that he's got to learn to play through, got to work through it. It's no different than what we see in the NFL with young quarterbacks. Like,
right.
What's the consistency of a young quarterback in the NFL? Once it becomes, once you can rely on what you're going to get, you can game plan around that. You know what you have to do to help him further or protect him.
Yeah, that was a good answer. I appreciate you on that. Just two more here for Chris Finch. The Thunder here Friday night. Is it too early in the season to say this is a big one? Like this is a big game coming up Friday night?
No, not at all. I mean, they're an outstanding team. We know them well. And we got to get some signature wins for this season. That would be a great one.
Lastly, do you Christmas shop exclusively online, or do you get out to the stores occasionally?
I'm 90% online, I would say.
So we're not going to see you walking around the second floor Mall of America like after a practice today?
I don't think so.
Well, tear it up against Memphis, and enjoy the Wild game tonight. I appreciate the conversation, and I'll call you next week, all right?
All right, Pete, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Likewise. See you, bud. That's Chris Finch, head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, weekly 9 to noon, courtesy of Second Harvest Heartland and 2harvest.org. Given this is a TCOPC Tuesday, with 9 to noon at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center for Kevin O'Connell at 11 o'clock, we are in search of a talkback for the head coach. If you would like to leave a talkback at the free iHeart Audio app, you got 30 seconds. And you can share something with the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Nordo, the producer, will parse his way through them, and we will play one back at about somewhere between 11 and 11:20, 11:25 for Kevin O'Connell, who joins at 11 o'clock. That's part of the Timber Tech What's on Deck set list, which also includes the analyst, Pete Berchich, courtesy of Sukup Manufacturing and Sukup.com. And the analyst joins us next from Eagan at the Minnesota Vikings practice facility, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. We are in the VEN's TCO radio studio. Devin Ward is guiding the great ship Love Covenant. Nordo produces on site, and I'm Paul Allen. This is 9 to noon. Here comes the analyst, Pete Berchich, analyst for the Minnesota Vikings radio and audio network, at Pete Berchich via X, if you would like to follow for hardcore football conversation. Also via YouTube. He has a YouTube channel, and he puts out videos quite frequently. Eye in the Sky is what it's titled. You can just put Pete Berchich 5'6" in the search bar and learn more about Eye in the Sky. Sukup Manufacturing and Sukup.com. Thank you for season-long sponsorship.
Make sure to hit that bell and subscribe, right, Pete? That's what you got to do. Hit that bell for notifications and subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps. All that stuff helps.
Yeah,
it's different. That's talking about a different world.
You got to make sure you hit that sub button. Hit that sub button at Sukup Manufacturing and Sukup.com. All right, well, let's start there. Why does it take 8 hours to post a 23-minute video on YouTube? You know, when you told me that, I mean, we had just a wonderful 30, 45 minutes sitting in where we stayed in Dallas. It was a fantastic place.
It was a resort.
Yeah, it was kind of a resort. Yeah. And we had about a cool 45-minute, little sit down with Pete and I. Kwesi stopped by and kind of gave us a microcosm of his life right now, trying to keep keep every sliver of a playoff hope alive, talking about the Cleveland Browns and Chicago, and then, things that he's going to be watching for the draft next year. And it was kind of what's happening now and what's coming up, kind of a microcosm. I thought that was super cool. But, when I asked you about Eye in the Sky, and you told me it took eight hours. 8 hours to post a 23-minute Dallas Turner video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Why? How? Why?
Well, it's all, and this is all, I do every bit of it myself. So, the part that I had to learn was all the flow, the workflow. I'm kind of familiar with it because of how we do things here. And
with you and Christian?
Yeah, with Christian and the VEN, excuse me. So, it's just, you have to figure it out. You have to find the plays, right? You have to watch all this football, find all the plays, and then you have to put them in order, which sounds easy to do, but it's not. You get them in order, and then you have to put them in a RIP file or a certain file. Then that file has to be produced.
Did you know what a RIP file was before Eye in the Sky?
Yeah, I knew I learned what we referred to as a RIP file because of these guys here at the VEN.
Because, I don't know what a Substack is.
Like
and all
Will
the kids talk about
Substacks, yeah.
Well, that's just a blog.
It is?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, subreddit.
A blog with a RIP file on the fan.
Yeah, exactly. And then learning different, like I had to learn Canovia, and I had to learn OBS Studio, how to set the camera up, the audio, blah, 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 and then you got to put it all together, and then you record it, and then you have to put that back into DaVinci, and then edit it, and splice it, and put it back together, and then you have to get that all done, and then that gets uploaded to YouTube, and then once you upload it to YouTube, you have to add all the different information that goes into that as well, and that whole process, it's a day. It's an entire day.
Would you say that is there, because you can build some efficiencies just by doing more of these things, right? So would you say that it's more comfortable than the first one?
Oh my God, yeah. You just know.
So it used to take longer than 8 hours to do a 23-minute bit?
Well, it took 2 months to upload the third video.
It depends.
Hey! Glad you said it. Hey!
Really?
Oh, no, but
I'm sorry.
Everybody, hold on.
Everybody, I was in Ireland for a week.
Hit that sub button and tell friends and family members to hit that sub button, and don't forget the bell for the notifications. And like it and repost it, but hit that sub button to help the analyst.
Nordo's been sitting on that one for about 2 months.
Since the spring. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No, we've joked about it with you away.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the preseason thing. I did a number of them in the beginning, and then didn't because that was me learning the process.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I wasn't just going to hit you with that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I used the first ones as just, hey, this is how it's going to be done, and then after that was over, I made a bunch of changes and then kind of ran out of stuff to talk about going into the regular season.
Do you think? Maybe the most popular podcast / YouTube bit with shorts and all that would be the Joe Rogan. What is the Joe Rogan Experience? Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe Rogan spends 8 hours putting up a 23-minute video when he's interviewing somebody?
Well, once you get that big, you hire people to do all that, and he spends, I'm sure, all his time just learning about his guests and all that.
And he's got a gang of nerds.
I mean, yeah, could you outsource some of this stuff? Eventually that would be nice to be able to do. But for now, I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I love doing film, right? Yeah. And I want to, and just the ability to do it on my own the way I want to do it. That's compelling enough for me. So, it's every once in a while you just got to do something that you're not comfortable with, and just do it. And I've learned a ton, and I've learned a lot about YouTube, the business, and how thumbnails and how how people think they should look. And
what's a thumbnail?
Just when you're scrolling on YouTube, it's just that initial picture that you get.
Okay,
right? And you could
do Photoshop and special thumbnails for those.
Yeah,
too, right?
Well, I just use Canva. Right, but you have to find all these programs. Right, you got to be able to find a program,
and you got to download them.
You can watch an MP4 and be able to draw on comfortably. Right, and it's a lot of. See, that's
the thing, though, is when you watch the videos, though, you're supernatural in the film. So the information I'm getting
is awesome.
The presentation is terrific.
Yeah. Eye in the Sky.
But people don't realize, like, the back end.
Hit that sub button.
Is we're learning a lot about different things we've never done before.
There's zero production value in it because I'm the one producing it. So I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there for a day and figure out how to do something in DaVinci. Right, where it's a sound effect and the swoosh, and then the screen does this, and then you have this graphic coming in number 2. My computer, I mean, that stuff eats up computer power like you can't believe. So I'm not going to sit there and do all that. I mean, maybe this off season, but I'm not going to spend 2 days doing all that when it's not my forte. But yeah, if I have some free time, I monkey with it, and you may have a few cool things here and there.
Let's do this 9 to noon. Let's be a love covenant. Go to YouTube, and then just in the search bar, Pete Berchich 5'6". You'll get the eye in the sky. Then hit the logo, and it'll take you to the page where you get the videos, playlist, posts, the sub button, community, and the last one you'll see is from the flip card, which Pete put together in front of the Vikings-Cowboys game. But let's subscribe to Pete's channel. To support the analyst because he's the bomb and he's working hard at it. But secondly, they're really good. It's really the film breakdowns and the flip card stuff that he does is really, really good. So I know where we are now at 9:30 in the morning Tuesday. We have a couple of segments with the analyst, and let's see where the love covenant can take this. All right, it's YouTube search bar Pete Berchich 5'6". And subscribe to his YouTube channel. And we think you're already Elite Football Minds. You wouldn't listen to 9 to noon if you weren't. But it'll be capital, all caps, ELITE Football Minds, the eye in the sky, YouTube.com. Hit this button, please. And lastly, on the YouTube bit, have you thought about maybe in the off season doing a series called Postseason Pete? And the reason I dubbed it that is because, and I'm just going to mention 4 here, but you've been involved, whether calling the games or playing in the games, and really even coaching them, I guess. Some really, really good playoff games, some really interesting playoff games involving the Minnesota Vikings. The first one I would start with, if I were you, with Postseason Pete. The eye in the sky, YouTube, would be the 97 wild card playoff game at the Meadowlands against the New York Giants.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Well, that thing was in December. I mean, first and foremost, when I went researching this, I'm like, damn, the wild card round was right around Christmas. Now everything's in January, Super Bowl in February, late February sometimes. But that was, you guys were down 16-0 at halftime. Made a thrilling comeback, postseason Pete.
That was, we had an onside kick that I think Chris Walsh recovered. I thought you'd want me to start with the 94 loss to the Chicago Bears in the Metrodome. 1994 on the one. Never mind.
What would be intriguing about that?
Nothing.
What, did you get run through by Walter Payton?
No.
Well, you wasn't in the league yet, I don't think, were you?
Who? 94?
Yeah.
Well, I never played against Payton. He was gone before I got here.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's...
Was that your rookie season then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That Sweetness shook on you, didn't he?
Yeah, I wish.
Wow, you grew up watching Sweetness and then played against him and he shook on you?
Paul,
That's the bomb!
I remember, speaking of that, I remember going on the field when I was coaching and I saw Dick Butkus, right? Mm-hmm. And he's standing there. He's just a monster. I walk up to him and I'm like, hey, you don't know me. I'm just a fan, blah, blah, blah. I'm a coach. And he just basically gave me the finger and turned around and walked away. And I'm like, yes!
That's the coolest thing that's ever happened.
Flipped me off. I'm
wow.
Like, he's like, seriously, he's wild, man, because I've kind of bumped into him here and there, and he's all smiles, but he walks on the field. It didn't matter if it was a game or if he was just out there. He was
just a kid looking for an autograph. Get out of here,
kid. He was just nuts.
First game of the season this year, man. Speaking of the Bears, I think I've mentioned this to you on the radio before, but at halftime of that Vikings victory at Soldier Field, the one McCarthy scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They honored the 85 Bears. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can't, because I don't want to mention names because I might miss one and the guy I miss might be dead. And then I got to deal with that on social media. But I mean, when they were announced, Wilbur, Marshall, Mike Singletary, you and I generally chill in the back of the Vox box and recalibrate for the second half, or you go get some food or whatever. But you were all eyes and ears that night. That was special for you.
Yeah, I got to meet Otis Wilson and Wilbur Marshall by the TV trucks under the stadium one time. That was that was fantastic. But as far as topics for videos and stuff go, I've been in conversation with the NFL
postseason Pete
about getting old coaches film. That would be from the 98 NFC Championship game. There's some other things. I'd love to do a history on Tampa 2, the coverage. and just because I know it started with Tony Dungy and what it is and how it's evolved and all that. Just real geeky football type stuff.
Feels like the league would lock that stuff up kind of tightly.
They're going to control it pretty
or at
tightly.
least have a few hoops for you to jump
basically
through.
But you're alumni.
That's the one reason they even sat down and went, listen, they said, okay, you go do your thing for a while. We'll see how it goes. And eventually after the season's over, I'll go back to them. I'm sure they're going to look at what I've been doing and blah, 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 that kind of thing. And then maybe they'll decide to. It's just, it depends on who you are. As an alumni, let's face it, some guys obviously who are future Hall of Famers and guys like that can call up and get whatever, they're a lot more eager to help them. But hopefully, fingers crossed, the what I've done is compelling enough that they'll say, you just let us know what you need, or I can fly to New York or LA, wherever all the databases are, and just bring a gigantic hard drive and just download.
How sweet would that be?
Oh my!
Some of the classic film.
Oh my God! I would.
And then your ability, like where I would love it, is matching the old with the new.
Yeah,
100%.
Like what you were sawing in the 90s, because, pure progression and some of the conversations we're having about defenses and then raising QBs. I got postseason Pete breaking down, here's what a rookie in 98 was staring down the barrel.
There's a whole, every time you run across a guy who, played back a decade ago or 20 years ago, one of the things you always ask him is, you like the game now? How do you like football these days? And it's just comparing is the game better today than it used to be? It's different, right?
Yeah.
Is it better or worse? And I think it's kind of a cool question, open ended. Everybody's going to have an opinion. There's a whole line of that I think just needs to be recorded.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying 1 billion people are going to watch it. I'm just saying it's compelling, and it's something that if it's out there, it would be, I think, good. Just for history's sake, I guess.
We're up 100 subscribers at the Eye in the Sky.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that.
So far, no, we ain't done. Okay, YouTube.com, search bar Pete Berchich 56. Support the analyst so he can go to the NFL or NFL Films in what is it, East Orange or
there's a studio in LA. It's right by the stadium, and then there's one in Manhattan, I think, too. But I don't know where they quote unquote store all the film. That's probably down in Texas somewhere.
This
some old missile silo.
Some gigantic,
This is
buried
only
in a mountain in Nevada.
This is only going to lead to better and more, or excuse me, more/better videos at Pete Berchich 56 on YouTube. At Pete Berchich 56 on YouTube. It's the Eye in the Sky. Please subscribe and support our brother here. The other options that I would put out, one of them, is not a good memory, but to have you dissect and break down the 98 NFC title game.
100%.
And you played in the game.
100%. That one, the October 7th, 98 game when we went into Lambeau, and they had a 35 game winning streak at home.
Yeah, the Monday night drizzly rain, Randy Moss.
And we beat the snot out of them. That was one of my favorite games of all time.
They sat Brett Favre in the fourth quarter. Do you know who replaced him?
No.
Dougie P?
Doug Peterson.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach.
The 2000 game?
Yeah, but if it's
was that Dishman?
What's that?
Which one was the one that was it? Chris
99.
Dishman? 99.
I think 99.
Or bounced off his back.
The immaculate deflection, maybe.
One. Right.
The 09 NFC title game at New Orleans.
Yeah,
that'd be one. Sure. Just to break down what I think it was Bobby McRae and not Aiken and Adele. It was one of the Adels and the designed cheating high lows on Brett Favre.
Right.
Just like you could literally break down what find a story, and this may take 6 hours, find a story, screenshot it, show the story about the high-low, and then show us what a high-low is.
I'm sure the league would love me doing that. But
my goodness.
My bad.
I know we're 6-8 here, but do we have to live in misery with these title games?
Minneapolis Miracle. Minneapolis Miracle game.
Absolutely.
17-0 at halftime. And then we have a replacement long snapper who blows it. They block a punt, and then they're in business.
Here's the deal. I would love to do that just the last series in that play that Diggs caught for the touchdown, they ran it. It was like the third time in that drive that they ran it.
Really?
At least the second or third.
Jeez.
Because that's about all they had. And that was the reason, I can't remember the kid's name, but that's why he got there so early and then had to make a decision.
Marcus
whether or not I'm going to run into Diggs and get a penalty.
Yeah.
Or, what, he'd seen it 3 times. It's like, okay, I'm here. And then said, I'm too early. And then missed him. Ball catch, gone.
And there never would have been a Minneapolis Miracle moment if, like, either the series before or maybe 2 before that for Peyton and the Saints, they tried a running back pass, I think with Kamara, to Willie Snead. And Snead's wide open for a first down. If they get that first down, we're in deep water, man, but they didn't close on it.
Overthrew him.
All those things.
It just shows you the things like the 0-3 game at Arizona with Josh McCown and Nathan Poole.
Yeah.
All of and Pete was a linebackers coach for the Vikings at that time. Everything that had to connect. They had to get a 2-point conversion from a tight end who had 1 catch all year, and they got it. Kleinsaucer has to have an onside kick go through his hands, and they have to recover it. Then they got to get like the 4th and 26. I mean,
you can do the Favre to Greg Lewis thing. I mean, there's, I would love to break down every run that Adrian had against the Chargers. That game.
The 296.
296. I mean,
let's get this going. I mean, you go up to the 3rd floor and Mr. Miller's office and say, look, boss, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. I'm sure that would get us off. That would definitely get us out of this building.
Maybe get a little seed money from the squad, and suddenly you got a producer.
Yeah. Hey, look at him come in here at Pete Berchich 56. Eye in the sky on YouTube. Let's go.
You can tell Nordo's living in a gig economy.
All right, that's Pete Berchich, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network. We have some Bikes Bites around the corner. Also, what are we on to with J.J. McCarthy? We need to get that in the mix for the analyst and much more when we return to the TCO radio studio at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. You're listening to the 9 to noon presentation. Here comes some Bikes Bites at 9:49, led by Eric Nordquist. Bikes Bites are sponsored by
Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. And you can shop online. Box of Meat shows up at your doorstep. You can go to your local Kowalski's and Coburn's. They're proud sponsors of Gophers Athletics.
Good stuff.
Yes, it is. Clearwater, Minnesota's finest. Thousand Hills. Pete, news coming out yesterday. Jonathan Grenard, his season is going to be over. He's going to have shoulder surgery, and this is clearly something that he fought through. And my first Vike Bite's kind of simple. You see a guy that goes from double-digit sacks to just 2 or 3. I think it's 3. But the other aspects in which he was impacting the game, how do you parse through that to really kind of just determine how good and how important Jonathan Grenard was to the team this year?
Well, I've said it a couple times. I think he's the best defender on the field. One of the best players. He's the best defensive player that we have on the field, mainly because of his ability to rush the passer consistently. There was a play against Dallas where he was supposed to rush off the edge, and I think he saw the formation and everything that was happening, and then just basically stopped, and then he was on his way, stopped, and then worked his way out to the flat because he identified what was going on around him, and it ended up being an incomplete pass. He's just so smart, so good, works so hard. He should have at least 6 or 7 sacks this year if he would just make the tackle.
He's right? Like top 5 in pressures and maybe top 5 in almost sacks.
Exactly. I would, if I had a chance to sit down with him now or interview him, I'd say this has been like the most frustrating year for you. He'd be like, why? And I'm like, because you've been to the quarterback like 6 times, and just that's the hard part is getting there.
Yeah.
Right. And then not finishing the deal. But shoulders are funky, and I'm glad to see that he's getting it fixed because I know I had one back in the day and just kind of went with it, and it's never the same again. Shoulders are worse than knees, in my opinion, as far as just the whole bit. Anybody's had shoulder surgery and had to sleep on an armchair knows exactly what you're talking about, because you can't lay down. You can't. It sucks. But Grenard is he's what am I going to say? He's physical, plays the run so well, and I think that's been the part of Dallas Turner's game that's changed, where he's improved, is his ability to play the run, because it's not like you just have a gap. Your job is to literally, if you have a tight end blocking you, destroy that tight end. Not just hold the edge, but you've got to be able to come off and make a play when that running back cuts back inside, because you're short a guy in the box. It's a part of how we do things, a big part of how we do things, and Grenard could do it. Van Ginkel can obviously do it, but you need special. This defense. You think about the names of the guys that we've brought in, and you're like, huh? I mean, you include Isaiah Rodgers in that, right? It's day 2 signing, free agency. Isaiah Rodgers. Everybody's like, who? And he's playing well. I mean, Josh Metellus. Remember when we re-signed him? I remember when we re-signed him, and I came out here during a mini camp, and I'm seeing him out there on third downs. I'm like, Josh Metellus is out there on third downs? But his ability to see talent in guys and know exactly where to fit him in his scheme. Jay Ward playing corner, right? He may not be a corner, but he's playing corner in certain coverages, right? Certain looks, and he just knows how to do. He knows how to do that. But that's the benefit. The part is this defense has to have 2 outside linebackers that are ridiculously good. Right, we can get through with the Jonathan Bullards of the world at interior defensive tackle, because you can rotate those guys in and out on down and distance. But those 2 outside linebackers have to be beasts, and Jonathan Grenard, in my opinion, is one of them.
Whether you were a player or whether you were a coach, this time of year is when some of this stuff pops. Like Grenard was dealing with this shoulder injury. He was on the Power Trip morning show earlier today. He mentioned it kind of first happened in that Baltimore game, and I think he was out the next week. But he comes back. Guys that we know, a lot of guys are hurting right now. I'm just curious, do people notice that, and that means something within the frame of the team and the locker room, understanding that this guy's fighting through his shoulder, that this guy's got a calf or a quad, etc.?
As a player, this is the last 3 weeks of the season, you started feeling better, because you went through training camp and then the opening of the season, and then as the season goes on, Denny would we'd practice in pads less and less. And then by this time of year, you would actually start to feel better. Really, you wouldn't. You still have the nagging things, but you wouldn't be as beat up on a day-to-day basis. You should be able to practice now, 15, 14 games into it, without having to. The fundamentals should be there and all that. So we actually started. I remember we played the Steelers one time, and I saw Jerome Bettis, and Jerome ran by, and I talked to him before the game, and you could smell the DMSO on him, right? You could just smell it on his breath, which is an anti-inflammatory, and it's you're like, these guys are beat they're beat up badly, and we were feeling great, and so you have to fight through a lot of that. A lot more guys on IR these days than I think even when I played. We didn't lose 2-3 starters a year.
You didn't have short-term RI, and you had a taxi squad.
Yeah, we only had 7 people, I think, on the practice squad. 6 at the time, and the eligibility was way different. You had to be a rookie or first-year player. You couldn't be a 2, 3, 4. It's which I think is good. I think that's good for the league to do that, because guys can stick around longer. But the injuries, it's a different game. It's more athletic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not as physical as they used to be. So fundamentals have suffered from back in the old days. You never saw an offensive line changing back in the day.
Right.
You had the same 5 dudes out there every single week. That's how it was. And your ability to stay healthy through a season is what got you on the field. If teams they'd love your athleticism. They'd have a guy that's unbelievable, but they'd be like, hey, he gets hurt a lot. He misses 2-3 weeks here and a week there. And
we're not going to deal with that.
Right, we're not going to deal with it. We're not going to pay a guy that kind of money and not be on the field. Once you got paid in the league, you played. If you got a big contract, you're on the field, dude.
You better show up.
I don't care if your wing is hurt. You're out there because we paid you.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's gotten a lot better for the players. No question about it. And I don't hesitate to remind them when you get a chance to talk to them. You give them the old. I mean, when I got here, it was guys like Lertzema, And, those guys, Boom Boom Brown, Studwell, those are the guys that would wander the locker room and, let me tell you about the old days and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, you guys drank beer all week and then
played football.
Bennied up and went on the field and played, right? No problem. Dave Casper and, those guys. So, yeah, nowadays it's a lot different, man. They take care of themselves. They eat better. My God.
It's a different universe.
Yeah, it's completely. Those guys have to feel good.
Where are we at with J.J. McCarthy? Coming off now 2 starts in a row where we've seen some really positive increases to the productivity, some of the accuracy, some of the inaccuracy is still there, but decision-making, processing, and kind of the high of a cool primetime victory, and now it's just a nooner out at MetLife. Just, over the final 3, just your thoughts on McCarthy.
Well, that's going to be interesting, too. It's a nooner out at MetLife. Right, against a team that's lost 6, 7 in a row.
Yeah,
I think they have
2-win operation.
Yeah, and so how are you going to look on that? Are you going to take the week off? Are you going to have the same intensity and work ethic like you did? Are you going to be as prepared as you were for national TV on Sunday night against a team that might still have a playoff? So that part of it's going to be interesting. I think the offense has changed. I think what's interesting is you watch the Giants film and Jackson Dart, and you can identify here and there route concepts that they like to do. They like to do RPO. They like to do the 2 receivers stacked, and one guy will run right down the middle, a post, kind of like right down the middle of the field, and they'll run the dig in behind it, and then they'll there's certain concepts, just a handful, and they're kind of scattered about.
Yep.
Right, but this isn't the offense that we were running years ago, last year, when you could sit there and watch the game and see, okay, there's this concept to beat this coverage, and you had to simplify. And I think there's finally some synergy there between what the quarterback can do and what we want our offense to look like. We're seeing Justin Jefferson run slants, and a lot of them. Right? Yeah. He might run one every once in a while to keep him honest, but I think that you saw a couple out of them on Sunday night, so you're like, okay. The receivers are starting to, you know what I mean? Just everything's, it's a whole new discovery process.
But we were stretching the field on Sunday night versus maybe working the tight ends, kind of more of a priority in the previous game against the Commanders.
Personnel groups.
Those little graduations.
We activated 4 tight ends for Sunday night. Why? Well, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put the heavy people out there and then spread everybody out, which the Giants do as well. So, you're seeing kind of an evolution in front between the coaches and the play. JJ's growing up every single week, and then the coaching staff is trying, not reinventing the wheel. I hate that phrase, but they're trying to figure out what the kid can handle and what he's comfortable with and what's going to work on Sunday. It's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right. Because as a team, you have an identity. You want to be able to run what you're good at doing. And that's your bread and butter. When things are going badly, this is what we go back to: the counter, like the power eye, or we're going to run the football. We're a zone team. That's what we do, and then the bootlegs off of it. And so finding that identity is what I'm seeing on the field. And minus the tip ball. That's kind of like the off-season. One of the off-season list of the talkers is why so many tip footballs? Is that something? Mm-hmm. Or what is that? Mm-hmm. Is that a thing? I have no idea what he could do to help change that, but that's something that's been consistent all year.
You, my friend, are fantastic. Thanks to everybody for hitting that sub button at YouTube and the Pete Berchich Eye in the Sky channel. It was quite voluminous, and the Love Covenant audience has clicked, and the Love Covenant audience has spoken. Thank you, Sioux Cup Manufacturing and SiouxCup.com. See you in New Jersey Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Pete Berchich, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network, via X at Pete Berchich. The scribe, Ben Gessling, who covers the Minnesota Vikings for the Star Tribune. He's a weekly component, 9 to noon, courtesy of Standard Heating and Air. And the scribe joins us from TCO's radio studio after this.